So we've looked at an example of a system of linear equations in three variables that had infinitely many solutions. Now let's look at an example of one that's going to have zero solutions. And let's see what happens. So I look at the first equation right here, the first two, and I say the easiest to probably get rid of would be a. So I'm going to multiply the whole bottom by 3. Okay? And so I get negative 6a plus 9b minus 12c equals 21 on the top. The bottom is negative 6a, now that I've multiplied by 3, plus 9b minus 12c is equal to 21. And you'll notice those are the exact same equation. So I subtract down, I get 0 equals 0. So just like in our last example, anytime you get 0 equals 0 means the planes are the exact same. So they're laying right on top of each other, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the second and the third equation, and I'm going to try and eliminate one of the variables. Okay? So I see, okay, I have a negative 2a, and I have a positive 10a. So let's multiply the whole middle one by 5 now and see what I get. So I get negative 10a plus 15b minus 20c is equal to 35. And the bottom equation stays the same. 10a minus 15b plus 20c equals negative 30. And so you'll see that since those are different, I can just add down. And when I add down, I get 0, and then I get 0, and I get 0 equals positive 5. And so does 0 plus 0 plus 0 ever equal 5? The answer is no. So even though this one is 0 equals 0, same plane, these two right here do not intersect. So this is no solution. So example 2a, I'd like you to try now and see what you get and what changes. Now we're going to look at a real-world example that has to do with seats in an amphitheater. It says to refer to the beginning of the lesson, so I'll read it now. It says seats closest to the amphitheater stage cost $30. The seats in the next section cost $25, and the lawn seats are $20. There are twice as many seats in section B as section A. When all 19,200 seats are sold, the amphitheater makes $456,000. Okay, so what we can do is, if I look at my picture, okay, let me draw a picture for you. Okay, all right. So the first section, section A, right? They told us section A costs $30. Okay, so that's $30. Then there's section B, that costs $25. And then finally the lawn, right here, section C, and that's going to cost $20 a seat. Okay. Then the information they said once again, there are twice as many seats in section B as section A, right? So really section B, twice as many as A. Okay, so that's 2A. And when all 19,200 seats are sold, the amphitheater makes $456,000. Okay, so important information. They'll make $456,000. And there are a total of 19,200 seats. So what we can do now is take this information that we have right here, and we can actually write a system of equations in three variables. Okay? So let's do that now. All right? So I'm going to say, A, B, and C. So altogether, A plus B plus C, total seats is 19,200. Okay, that's what it said. There's a total of 19,200 seats. Okay, then it says, okay, if we sell all the tickets, so $30 for A, so I'm going to say 30A plus 25 for B plus 20 for C, that's going to be equal to the total price of $46,500. Excuse me, $456,000. Finally, the last information is that one that we wrote in red right here, is that B is actually equal to 2A. So we're going to write that in there too. So B is equal to 2A. So what I'm going to do, now there's not a third, this is their third equation, but there's not one that we can really like substitute or get rid of one of them. So instead, this is going to become the substitution problem. And wherever I see a b in these equations, I'm just going to put in 2a. Okay? And so when I do that, I get this. A plus 2a plus c equals 19,200. And then down here, 30a plus 25 times 2a plus 20c is going to be equal to the $46,000, right? Okay, so let's simplify these down, right? Because I have a and 2a, so it's going to be 3a plus c equals 19,200. And 30a plus, well, 25 times 2a is 50a, so 30a plus 50a is going to be 80a plus 20c is equal to $456,000, right? So, how can I eliminate one of my variables? Okay? Well, the easiest I would say is, check it out, c and c. So I'm going to multiply the whole top by 20. Okay? That way, when I do that, okay, this becomes 60a plus 20c is equal to, and then 19,200 times 20 is 384,000. Okay, so I've essentially gotten rid of this equation right here and come up with this new equation. Right? Now to get rid of the 20's, I have to subtract out. So 80a minus 60a is 20a. 20 minus 20 is 0, goes away. And 456,000 minus 384,000 is equal to 72,000. Right? Divide both sides by 20. And then I find that in section A, there are 3,600 seats. Okay? That's great. Now we can easily find what B is too, right? The way we can find B is that's just 2 times A, right? So I take that times 2, that's 7,200. And then finally, if I want to figure out what C is, I can go back to my original equation that told us total number of seats, and I just plug in A, B, and C, right? So it would be A plus B plus C equals 19,200. Substitute in A and B. So I get 3,600 plus 7,200 plus C equals 19,200. Okay? 3,600 plus 7,200 is going to be 10,800 plus C is equal to 19,200. Subtract 10,800 from both sides. And I find that C is going to equal 8,400. Okay? So here are my answers, A, B, and C. And if they wanted us to give our answer as an ordered triple, which they normally do, I'd write it in just the order that we do it alphabetically. So 3,600, 7,200, and 8,400. And we are done. Here's a guided practice problem. Let's read through it quickly. It says, Ms. Garza invested $50,000 in 3 different accounts. She invested 3 times as much money in an account that paid 8% interest than an account that pays 10% interest. The third account earned 12% interest. If she earned a total of $5,160 in interest in years, how much did she invest in each account? Alright, so let's set up our equation real quick. Total invested is $50,000. 3 accounts. We'll call them X, Y, and Z. And so altogether that's going to $1,000. Okay? Then it says she invested 3 times as much money in an account that pays 8% interest than an account that pays 10% interest. And there's also the third one with 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's say 8% interest is the X. And let's say 10% interest is the Y. Then finally, the 12% interest is going to be the Z. And it says she earned a total of $5,160 in interest. So you can see our second equation has to do with the interest and how much she's invested each one. Now we can look back and it says 3 times as much money in an account that pays 8% than the account that pays 10. Well, the 8% is then X, so 3 times X is going to be equal to Y. So now what we can do is we can substitute 3x in for Y in all of those equations. We can get rid of the Y's, solve for the X, then the Z, and we can get our answer.